Part of the Solution podcast, hosted by me, Natalie Damiano. Join me for a discussion on all things health, wellness, fitness, parenting, and more, all with a healthy dose of humor. Okay, so if you guys are curious a little bit about Christina and kind of what she has to offer, I actually reached out to her for a reading and it was mind-blowing. Like, totally just like, have you been following me my whole life? Like, it was so great. Truly, it really, really was. And so I would love to just kind of go over that with you today for the listeners. And obviously, if they're curious about them, I'm going to plug you 100% because I think everybody in the world should see you and have a reading done with you because, like I said, it was just so gratifying and so spot on. And it just really spoke to me. It was just very validating. That's the word I was looking for, of all these thoughts and feelings that I've had inside of me my whole life about certain things, or certain things that have become clearer the older I get and all of those. And you were basically like, girl, you are right on track. Like, this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And that felt so good because I haven't had that, like, who's got that person around you? Like, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing all the time. And so that truly is what you are to me. And like, I just cannot thank you enough. So let's kind of dig in and dive into that.
Sounds good. Okay. So I want to recap. And first of all, you have a lot of reoccurring themes. And there's one theme in particular that's just all in your chart. I don't want to use the word insane, but it definitely was like...
You can use it.
Okay,
it's fine.
Yeah. So it was a little insane. And I looked at my husband after I meditated on your information and on your chart, and I use multiple modalities as well.
Yeah. And by the way, all I did was provide my birthday, where I was born, and what time.
Yeah. And I didn't meet you previously.
No. Yeah. Nope.
So I looked over at my husband after I meditated on that, information and had your chart and had some layers of some other modalities that I use as well. And I just was like, this woman is a fireball. She's a fireball. She's got a lot of energy. I'm really excited to meet her. Powerhouse is another word that came to me that I told my husband, and he was like, okay, like, he like dives into it a little bit, but he just kind of looks at me and smiles.
Yeah. Same with my husband. I'm like, check out this eyebrow I did. He's like, cool.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to start off with
even just you saying that, like even just those few words, I was like, oh my God, she gets me.
Yeah. By looking at your chart, there's just these themes.
And that theme right there of just by looking at the chart, she knows all these deep, dark things in me. It's just these personality traits. It's just crazy, you guys. It's crazy.
So I think I'll start with the theme of your sun gate. So the top 4 gates are where you have them, like, that's like your personality. And obviously everything else tells, more of a story. But yeah, the sun gate tells us so much. Okay. And you have the gate 28, line 6, and we'll go into more of what that line is in just a little bit here. But the thing that comes to me about this is that you are an explorer on the leading edge of consciousness, and you are here to push the boundaries of consciousness.
What does the word consciousness mean in this language?
It can mean a lot of different things.
Okay.
For me, what I was getting is just the word unknown comes to me too.
Okay.
The unknown things, the secrets, different philosophies, and trying to find the truth in those philosophies. That's what came to me. And you pushing and seeking, and this gate is also a gate of risk taking. So most of your life, it could be that you were conditioned to not do that, to push that down, but you are meant to take risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%.
For sure. Yeah.
I could see this in here.
Yeah.
And I saw this before I met you and I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, at first I was like, no. Like,
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be big energy, when I met you. But just seeing that was like, whoa, all right. Like, I can't wait to hear some of your stories, because another big part of this and your what's called Earth Gate is about taking these stories from your past and the hurt, the pain, all that you went through, and using it to help other people find their path, their self-love, and to embrace their self-achievements. So this is a big deal. And I think most people say, well, everyone kind of can, do that. They can learn from their past. And it's like, no. Like, this is really prominent in your chart. And if you do it in the higher frequency of this, which is, love, but if you were to be in the shadow frequency of this, which might happen time to time because we're human, is coming from a state of victimization. So it's really important to try to, I don't want to say push away the shadow, because I feel like you actually have to go in and dive into it in order to be released from the bonds of it. Yeah,
you've got to not hit the rock bottom, but be able to be in the shit, basically.
Yeah. And then you're able to take that and you're able to transmit values to others while you tell those stories of the past.
Yeah. That is my goal right now, 100%.
Yeah, it gives me chills.
Yeah, like nothing could be more true of what I want to do.
When I knew of this podcast, when I first found out about this podcast, I literally, I think I threw my hands in the air and was like, yes, because I know your chart so well. But not just that, but I do what's called a tap in.
Yeah.
So I was tapping into your energy. Then when I found out about the podcast, I was very excited.
Oh, good.
I'm really excited to see where it goes, because I just feel like you're in the infant stage of this, trying to figure out what direction exactly. I mean, I know now based on your chart, to just take the reins and go with it. But it's going to be telling those stories from the past and having guests to help support, the boundaries of consciousness.
Yeah,
which
just like
I'm doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, like while you're here, 100%.
Yeah. So.
I think, and that's part of it. Like literally part of the solution is part of the journey, and part of how can we be a service of others and help other people be their best self? That is definitely, yes, she is 100% on track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's best for you to embrace challenges.
Yeah.
I want to say that for everyone, and we need to remember that everyone has aspects of all of these gates and profiles and all the things. But when it's defined, it's highlighted for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is the highlighted thing. But everyone can learn from all of the things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Another thing that I found interesting was in your Earth Personality 27, you do have this challenge of over caring. And people might not know that from your exterior, actually.
Yeah.
Because you've had to build walls due to all that you've been through. And I'll talk about the line in a moment, because that explains a lot to me why you're licking your wounds right now and retreating and recovering. But people, that don't really know you, you have this hard, this tough exterior, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful, but powerhouse, and there is this sensitivity in you, and the word over caring comes to me.
Yeah.
And you want to still care, but you can't care to the point where you're trying to take on the responsibilities, other people's responsibilities.
Yes. I tried for many years to do that, and it just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
So that's more of a validation, because when you get into, your 40s, these unconscious themes become more conscious.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot has changed in my 40s, late 30s to early 40s. Just a lot of the ways that I feel about things, the boundaries that I set up, the expectations I have, my expectations in other people, whether they've come way down or, they're higher up or whatever it is. So I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah, that would be the shadow. Like you do have that theme though, where you kind of have to let people be who they are. And that's just it. You're like, no, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. Mm-hmm. So it's trying to let go of that is going to help you a lot.
I can't micromanage everybody's lives. 100%.
There you go. You just said it perfectly. That's exactly this.
Yeah.
That's like the challenge.
Yeah. And that's hard because of course you're like, but you could do it. And it could be better or don't do that, but just like me, everybody has to learn on their own, fall down, and then get themselves back up and figure it out. We don't learn from other people's mistakes most of the time, so.
Well, especially someone with your profile. So you are a 6'2", which by the way, I love this profile. I find a lot of famous people have this profile.
Am I a generator 6'2"? Like when people say, okay, gotcha.
So you're a pure generator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the 6 and the 2?
So the 6 and the 2. So the 6 is the role model and the 2 is the hermit. And the 6 is broken down into 3 parts.
Okay.
I know you love this part. Remember you lit up when I told you about this because you really resonated with it. So this is like, an approximate from 0 to 30-ish, right? You are like a line 3 and the line 3 is the martyr. So it's bumping into things, bumping into people, having people blame you for things that really you shouldn't be blamed for. That happens a lot with the line 3. Mm-hmm. It's trial and error. It's adventure. Having to try things out.
Yeah.
Definitely experiment. That definitely is a word that I associate with 3s.
Yeah.
The thing is that those first 30-ish years are hard for a 3. It's hard, but you are gaining so much wisdom through those experiences, those tough experiences that are unique to a 3. Remember, you're actually a 6. So this means that this next stage of life, which you're in right now, 30-ish to, 50s, 60s, somewhere in there, probably more 50s for you. This is when you're retreating to the roof and you are licking your wounds and you're like reassessing all the things, right? And you are integrating that because you're going to then blossom into this butterfly of the role model, which is the 6. And that to me is like the teacher, the one who is like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. And like I said, we all have these themes. This is just really highlighted for you.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, the 6 is great wisdom when I think of the 6. And I find people with the 6 in their profile, they're like, why is it not happening quite yet? To where I know what I'm meant to do. I feel it. I feel the call. Why is it not happening?
Yeah.
Because you're just not there yet because you're still on the roof. You haven't come down from the roof.
Yeah. So patience.
Down from the roof. Patience.
Trust the process. Yes.
And what's your other line? You're 2. You're the hermit.
Yeah.
So the hermit is the natural. They're gifted. It's like if there was a house and there's like 2 stories, you're on the first story, you're probably like playing a guitar or something and everyone's like trying to peek in the window and look and see what it is that you're doing. Because they're curious. Yeah. But you're just in your own world doing your own thing, not even realizing that other people are watching and taking notes.
Okay.
And it's about being called out.
Yeah.
So the 2 is needing to be called out for things like life's work, things like that. There's something called the Gene Keys, which is the sister system, which I know more than you even know about it because I spied on your Gene Keys chart. But it talks about like your vocation, your life's work more specifically. But I'm just saying generally the 2 needs to be called out for, like the podcast. You said, hey, Christina, would you like to come on this podcast? I'm like, oh, I'm being called out. So it's a projector, profile number, and projector, as we know, is the one that has to wait for the invitation.
Yeah.
So this has that projector energy. So your 2 hermit has a projector flare. You also have you also have the gate 7, which is the guide. That's also a projector gate in Leo, which is funny because when I think of Leos, I don't think of projectors. But yeah, so you're the guide. I have this one too, but we guide in different ways because the line gives it another flavor. So yours is a 4. So you're there to be a guide to your network. Well, what do you know? You're doing this podcast, and whoever is listening, they're listening to you as the guide.
Yeah. God, this is just so, again, just spot on to what I feel and what I'm being called into and what I'm being pulled towards energetically, like just that deep intuition and knowing like this is what you're supposed to do. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get there or how it's going to happen. It's going to be like that messy action, but the end result is going to be that. Like that I know for sure. All the in between, I don't know, but the end result, I know. And again, you're just totally freaking validating that for me. And it's crazy.
It's going to get crazier.
Oh,
because you have that 3 flavor still, even though you're that 6. You're always going to have that like exploration.
I just have so much energy already. Just being here for 15 minutes with you. I'm like,
oh, good.
So, okay. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good. I get into a stream of consciousness with it. So once I get into that, then it's where it just all comes.
I'm going to let you do your thing and shut up.
No, I love it. I love it. I want you to come back on me because I'm, the manifesting generator and you're generator. So we're generator types. So this back and forth responding gives us energy.
Yes.
And it's what we love.
Yes.
So we're actually feeling our energy rise. I was really tired this morning, but we're doing our generator thing.
Yeah.
We're creating this energy.
You're going to be skipping out the door when you leave here.
I'm going to be skipping out the door. I love it so much. Okay. So I actually, when I look at your chart in the right hand triangle that's pointing inwards towards the center, you don't have any gates there. So this is the emotional center. And this is a place of a lot of question marks, the emotional realm. It's interesting because eventually this is going to become a place of great wisdom. You're probably starting to enter that right now, going into your 40s. And so it can have a lot of question marks. Anybody that has a center where there's no gates defined, no numbers colored in, that will become a place of great wisdom. So your head is completely open and your emotional center is completely open. So that's going to take patience too.
Yeah.
That can be real. So for example, even though right now with the transits I've got going on, I have every single gate lit up in my emotion area, my emotional center. I'm highly intuitive, but I don't necessarily pick up on other people's emotions the same way you do.
Gotcha.
And you can get really overwhelmed by other people's emotions because you don't have any lenses, any gates to look through. So it's kind of all over the place.
Okay.
But at the same time, what's really cool about that is you don't have any like fixed way of looking at emotions. So I know it's kind of abstract. So me, I'm looking through all of those different fixed gates.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at the emotional realm. And I'm obviously emotionally defined. You are what's called a pure generator. So for you, making decisions is going to be a lot quicker than for me. So for me, it just time. It just takes me a moment, to like shift to something unexpected. So it takes me a moment to just go, okay, let's recalibrate here. As in you in the same situation would be able to recalibrate much quicker.
Gotcha.
If you're still in the zone with something though, because you're a generator, it is going to be hard to task shift. If not ask like the question, remember, because we're the responders. And that might be plugged in somewhere else in this podcast. You're just able to shift a lot quicker, make decisions quicker but I feel like everyone needs to take time with really big decisions.
Absolutely. I don't think, no matter who you are, when you were born, what time, what you are, you know, if there's a big decision, sit on it.
Yeah.
Don't just fire off that text message,
Yeah.
you know, or anything like that. Like, sit and mull it over for sure. Yeah. If it's like, what are we having for dinner? Fine. Shoot that from the hip. But yes, I agree.
Yeah. So for someone like me who's emotionally defined, I struggled when I first learned my design because I was operating as if I were a pure manifesting generator versus an emotional manifesting generator.
Okay.
So I was always just, make a decision now, but then it would come with great anxiety. Because I wasn't riding my emotional
wave. It was like
wave.
Backfiring on you.
Totally backfiring all the time, completely exhausted, always using my prenatal chi energy, which is the energy we're born with. Mm-hmm. And then postnatal chi energy is the energy we get from eating nutrient dense foods. And it's also the energy that we get from nature. You could say sleep and all that too, but really nature and good food is where you're going to get the bulk of that postnatal chi energy.
Gotcha.
And, if we're taking on too much, which manifesting generators do, and we're meant to, but if we're taking on the wrong things, we're actually the most prone to burnout.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We're always trying to add that one other thing.
Yeah. Would you say like over time you've learned to listen and know this part of you that you can say no to things because you know it's just too much for you, or do you struggle in that? I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of my challenges in life, and it's what I'm here to learn. And it is a struggle.
Yeah.
Because I get excited about things, but here's the thing. We get excited about things because of that, that sacral energy that we as generators have in the body. We get excited, but it's not an awareness center. The awareness centers are elsewhere.
Gotcha.
So for me, that's really important, is to have that time. And then the more time I give myself, the more information I get through that emotional center, because the emotional center is an awareness center. So that's really helpful for me.
Yeah.
But it's getting better. But it's very tricky for me. Because I am not only a manifesting generator, but my sun gate, how we just talked about your sun gate, my sun gate is 16, and it's the gate of versatility. Mm-hmm. So it's like, do all the things.
Yeah.
And even for people like me that are a manifesting generator, or you have a gate 16 somewhere or high up in your chart, there's still boundaries. Like, you can't do it all.
Yeah.
You have to have boundaries.
Yeah.
So yes, you're meant to do multiple things, but you've got to
figure it out. Okay. So if I don't have anything in the emotional side, where are all my things? Like, where, obviously I know I'm not emotionless, but
and that doesn't mean that at all.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that. I know people that are completely open, and
my heart is not black, people. My heart is not black.
No.
I've got feelings.
You absolutely do.
Yeah.
And, so actually your spleen is pretty lit up, and your root, which can really help ground you, during crazy times. Mm-hmm. And you always feel this pressure, as in somebody with an open root, which I usually have, but I'm in what's called my Uranian opposition right now. So I'm a completely defined person in all of my different energy centers.
Yeah.
But when I don't have that, I feel the pressure, and then I get the thing done, and I feel this release, and I feel that release more than me as one who has this defined root like you right now. So I actually feel with that. I feel the difference.
You do.
I can. And I love it, because remember, I like to case study things. I like to really test it out. And I kind of feel this pressure all the time. And then, when I get stuff done, it feels good. It's not the same though when I have my open route, when I don't have transits making that active and defined. It feels way better when I check things off.
Yeah,
when I
for
have
sure.
Because it's like this, but I have also more pressure that I feel when I have that open root.
So were you saying that mine is open or
yours is defined?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So you're, walking around. I wouldn't want to say like more calmness. That's kind of a word, but that's not the word. It's, for example, if someone is tailgating somebody with a defined root versus somebody with the open root person is more inclined to pull over.
Yeah.
And I find I'm pulling over less with it defined and really feeling that energy.
Yeah.
When it goes away though, I'm curious to how that's going to feel again. Cause I remember pulling over a lot when somebody was tailgating me.
Yeah.
It's still annoying.
Yeah.
But it's more of this pressure I can't handle this anymore. I need to get over.
Yeah, for sure. You just need to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the root is not open. What was the word that you used?
Defined.
Okay. And then what was the other one?
The spleen center.
Yeah. Because when I hear that, I'm like, what the heck does this mean?
To me, this is known as a fear center, but it's also a center of instinct. So a lot of your intuition is going to come through a feeling of instinct. Mm-hmm. It's going to be different than how I receive my intuition.
Yeah. I follow my intuition more and more the older I get and trust it. And it just has never steered me wrong. And the best way I can describe it is that when I had my daughter, I just knew everything was going to work out. I just knew I would figure it out. It would work. I would never be in a place where I'm like, I just don't know what to do and she just won't, or, anything like that. And I don't mean like it was smooth and perfect and I never stressed, but I just had this feeling in me where I was like, don't worry, like these natural instincts will just kick in and you're just going to know what to do. And I just surrendered to that. And it did. It totally did. And my daughter's 7. So that's when I had that first moment of like, girl, just trust and believe like that you've got this. And I've been slowly inching my way to that, just being who I am every day, just trusting that intuition. And just hearing you say that, it's like, yes.
Yeah. And you have the 5710. So this is self-love too. That's really important for you. Some people can see the 10 as selfish, but it's you preserving yourself.
Yeah.
And so if we're on a hike, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but we're on a hike, we're thirsty. Maybe there's a group with us. I'm just going to like tough it out and like, trek it on up and be thirsty. You're going to
not me.
Hello, everyone. I'm stopping.
We're stopping for water.
I'm getting water.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Yes.
I use this analogy a lot because this has actually happened to me where I've been in the midst of somebody with a 10 and I always observe. I love it. I love that I don't just like learn the information, but that I actually test and observe those with these different designs.
Yeah. I don't think anything I do like that is selfish. Even when I get a massage or
you're not going to think so.
Exercise. No, I think,
can.
Yeah. And I just think it's me trying to be the best version, like if I'm mentally fit, then things are just going to go well for everybody, that I'm involved with. It's just
of course the 10
how I feel. Oh my gosh.
And my son is a 10 too. Yeah. So yeah, he has that same configuration. Yeah. So I'm very familiar with this. Yeah. He's just like, what's your guys' deal? And we're like, I'm just doing what I need to do.
Yeah. But I feel great about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Other people can just see it differently. So I think it's just, if you're able to give people the heads up, like, hey, I'm doing this because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's really helpful is always to inform, even if you're not a manifestor or manifesting generator. I think just informing in general is helpful. Mm-hmm. Just like a big decision, waiting a little, give yourself a little bit of time.
Yeah. And little life hack.
Yeah. Little life hack. And so you also have some gate 11s. And what that is that's all about ideas. I love being around those that have a defined gate 11 or more.
Yeah.
Because if you're a generator type, it's just it's fun because there's always something to talk about.
Yeah.
And you have, I believe both of yours are in a line 3. Yeah. So this is experimentation with ideas, trial and error.
Yeah.
So people might be thinking from the outside, why did she do this and then stop? And then now she's doing this. And then this is always changing. It's because that is how you're designed.
Yeah.
So you're eventually going to figure it out, but you this is your process.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of that process right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Of figuring out, am I going to do this? Can I try that? Can I add this here? 100%.
Yeah. That 3 can be really tricky for others. I think you just need to let people know this is how you operate.
Yeah.
And if you give them that heads up, then they're going to be like, got it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this. I wish everyone had a t-shirt where I can just read their chart really quick.
Yeah.
It would help me.
Yeah.
So much.
You would just know how to have a conversation with each person. Yeah. It's so crazy too, how you have a conversation with this like ideology that you have, or just like, this is how you think. Like, you don't just see in color, you don't just hear sounds. Like, it's just so different for you. And I'm sure there's moments where you wish it wasn't like that, but I feel like, oh, you're so lucky, like you just see people so differently, and that's just unique, it's just different and unique. And I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that. I was just talking about this the other day, that when you have these perceptions, or if you're sensitive, there's the hard part too.
For sure.
The physical sensitivities, the emotional sensitivities, always having to guard your energy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is that higher, positive aspect to it. And my thing is, if I can help others, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Because I want to build this empire of
That's
love.
the why. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have a similar thing going on. It's just a different angle.
Yeah.
So we're headed actually in the same direction.
Absolutely.
Just it's a little bit different.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's just like you bake your pie this way and I bake it this way. 100%. We just do it slightly different, but I do feel very connected to you in like what our end game is and like what our goal is. And yeah, we're totally different in that way, but the same too, Yeah,
you actually have this ability, and I'm not sure if you're aware or not, or becoming more aware of it, but you have this ability to tap into the emotional frequency of others.
Talk to me. What does that mean? Talk to me more about that.
I don't know that you're even aware that you have this ability. And I think this has to do with your open emotional center. Is that you have this ability to tap into literally the emotional frequency. So if someone's off or something, you have this ability, if it's awake or asleep, I'm not sure, to tap into that.
Yeah.
So I think you just being aware, or me even talking about it, may open that up to you. Because there could have been somewhere along the line where you were conditioned that wasn't a thing for you.
I am just now starting to feel that. And yeah, I do. When I have those feelings, I'm like, is this like your intuition telling you this? Or are you just reading the room and seeing somebody like act slightly different? So you're like, what's up? Like, what's going on with you?
It's all kind of the same though. Like, the visual cues are part of it.
Yeah.
It can be your first clue to where you can have that be your focus and then tap into the frequency.
Okay.
That could be your start.
I've had it like, it's just my toes dipping, like there's just been like, let's say 5 incidents where I'm like, okay. And then I talk to the person about it and something's going on, or something is bugging them, or something is different. So
I'm picking that up with you. That's why I kept saying, I'm not sure if you're conscious or not, or coming into it.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah,
See what I mean? She's a freaking mind reader.
Chart energy reader. And what I really love about more of what you're here to do, obviously to lead, to teach is a theme over and over again, all throughout your chart. And from those past experiences that you have had when you were more in this 3, and you're still in this 3. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, you're going to come more into the 6 energy.
Yeah.
But you are a 6 in your profile.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, when you said the teacher, that just hit home. That just validated. That was just like the igniter went on, and I was like, holy shit, yes, that is exactly what I needed to know. Like, trust this, keep moving forward, keep doing what you're doing. Like, yes, this is where you're supposed to be going. So thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
you're here to help, build even intimacy, which is really interesting because you have this in a very different place in your chart than I do. But you have this ability to help people even redefine their values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
When I caught that in your chart, and that not only that, but not only are you good at building relationships, but agreements and contracts that reflect these people's value and their values.
What does that mean? Unpack that a little bit.
You are here to really help people like redefine maybe even who they are and where they're going.
Wow.
It's pretty profound, and it's all in your chart.
Oh my God.
But it's through the stories of the past, not rooted in victimization.
Yeah.
Because that's so easy to feel that. And I don't even know all your stories, by the way. This is just from your chart that I'm picking up. I have no idea. I know maybe like half of one.
Yeah.
And it's just, the stories, and then taking that and putting it out there in the world. And this is part of your path. This is big.
It feels big.
It feels big. Yeah. I can see it. It is big. It's so prominent in your chart. And I've done a lot of chart readings up until this point, and I don't know that I've seen a chart with such a reoccurring theme. It's like teach, lead, guide, and then based on this the third line that you've been in, that you accumulated these wounds. But here's the thing: from our wound often comes our greatest gift.
100%. I couldn't agree with that more. Like, I am grateful for everything that I've been through, that I've gone through. I wouldn't change one thing. Because I'm so happy with where I'm at, and I'm so excited for where I'm going. And as cheesy as that may sound, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I just, as you know, just from listening to this, like, I am on the path to big fucking things, and I can feel it, and I know it to be true, and I'm going to keep believing it till I'm dead, like, I'm just going to keep going in that direction. And again, like, thank you for validating that. Like, it means so much. Yeah. It really does.
I can literally see it.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, powerhouse.
Yes.
Fireball.
Yes.
And just, it's over and over. So it's like, literally, I just go through your chart and I'm just going to keep saying the same thing because that's what it all leads to. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. And you even have the channel of power. I mean, you have the channel of power yourself. You don't need someone else to bring in that energy.
Yeah.
So you just want to stay in the higher frequency of all of that and you'll be good. Yeah. But it's, we're human. So I think it's good just to be aware of certain shadows, shadow energy. And in your gene keys, this is a sister system to human design. I do know part of your vocation and your, what's called your culture sphere. You have a line 1 and you have a line 3. And what that is like the line 1 is like bringing the idea to the group, to the collective, right? But then you're going to need other people with other lines to help make that idea blossom. That's probably why it feels hard when you have this great idea to make anything come of it. Yeah. And then the 3 is people would say, oh, it's like the black sheep. But here's the thing. That 3 is the one that's the uniter. It's the one that can bring the people together and unite them. Yeah. That's the culture. The community. Yes. And this is all part of prosperity. This is all part of work. And we want to always go into our work. And this is really hard for people. This is where everything has to shift, is we have to not be thinking about how much money is this going to bring in. But as soon as we start going, what lights me up? What feels like my mission? And if you start with that, you will feel a huge weight and a huge burden lifted off your shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the moment you start going back to, okay, the money thing, and having that be the main reason why you're starting something, you will always feel that heavy weight.
Yeah, I experienced that in the last 2 years where I did something totally new, totally exciting, but it was, the goal was to make money and my heart wasn't really in it. And it didn't align with really what I wanted to do. I just thought, oh, I could do this because it was easy for me and I can teach others how to do that. And it failed. And I know now that it failed because it wasn't aligned really with anything that I really wanted to teach about or to share on. So it was, I wasn't attached to the income or to the outcome of it. And I think I just went through it gracefully is the wrong word, but it just didn't bother me that it failed because I knew it wasn't meant to be anyways. Like I knew it wasn't right. It was just something I thought I should do. I thought I was supposed to do. That's like the next step. And I delegated all the tasks to everybody else and there was none of me really in it. And that's, it was just part of it. And so I learned that big lesson and it was way more, I put way more money into it and it just did, and it just is what it is. And I've let it go. It doesn't bother me at all. And I know it's just another learning journey,
Yeah. And that line 1. So whenever you're working in a group, you're the ideas person.
And it was just a solo project and I don't want to be solo.
Well, yeah.
And that I think was another part of it too. I was doing it all on my own. I just had the help of one person helping with all of the tech part. And I don't want to be solo. I thrive in like a group environment.
Well, if people want to change the world, you have to have these people that bring these different skill sets or the different energy.
Yeah.
So great. You're the idea person.
Yeah.
You're the unifier. That we know.
Yeah, exactly.
And all this other stuff we talked about.
Yeah. Ooh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. So what's next or what would come next through doing like a chart reading with you? Do you have other offers? Do you go even deeper? I know that you've mentioned the gene keys.
Gene keys.
Yeah. What else?
So once somebody really knows and understands their human design, I would recommend gene keys. It's a long journey.
Yeah.
I am on going into year 3 actually. And I'm at the very tail end of what's called my Pearl sequence. And it's extremely helpful. You think human design is mind blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, this
like a deeper level of everything.
And more feminine.
Okay.
And so I sometimes will print out a gene keys chart for people just to get a flavor of their sequence.
Yeah.
But really, in order to really change your DNA and that energy frequency, you have to go in it. Yeah. It is deep inner work. I do recommend it. And once I'm done, I can take people through it. But it's obviously recommended in order to take someone else through that whole journey. You have to go through the journey yourself.
Oh, okay. So you're on your own journey.
I'm almost done. I'm at the very end. I'm in like the second to last sphere, we would call it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm going into what's called the brand sphere, and it's all part of prosperity and work, but it's just a whole journey. It's beautiful. I love it. It's a lot of work though. Of course, me taking on another thing. And, So would everybody have to go through a 3-year process? No, it's different for everyone as far as, the time frame. So I'm just going into my 3rd year. It's really been 2 years. Gotcha. 2 years. But could somebody do a gene key reading with you? Like, is that how will you use this to help? Or is it just more education for you? It's for me, but I do like to take aspects of it. Gotcha. And throw it in here as well. Yeah. So I like to do human design I throw some gene keys in there and what's called quantum human design.
Yeah, it's your own method.
So, and that is so me because I'm an emotional manifesting generator with a sun gate of 16 versatility. So it makes sense for me to take multiple modalities, which have multiple modalities within them, and then make another modality.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, just to even be able to offer that's like your own custom. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's going to be good, girl.
I like it.
This is going to be good. So I'm going to need to get like another reading from you when you're done and you've like settled all in it. One thing I wanted to ask that I'm very curious about is, can you do this with children?
Yeah.
You know, like, could I have both of, like, say I got my husband's chart done and then both my kids? Like, I do really feel like this could shift our dynamic as a group. This could shift how I parent my children, not drastically, but maybe I just know, like, my daughter hears me better when I approach it like this because of her human design. Could I do that? Like, could I? Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, pretty soon here, I have a family penta reading I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
So it's where I take the 3 charts. They only have 1 child, and I combined it to get a chart that is all of their energy. So it's a body graph.
Okay.
And it shows all of their energies together, what they're lacking, you know, what their superpower as a family is, what their dynamic is, who's really in charge. Because sometimes you'll see that the kids are actually in charge energetically.
Yeah.
Like both of my children, for example, if they're on the same page with one another and it's in opposition to my husband and myself, we are out alphaed.
They're the powerhouse.
They are in charge.
But that ebbs and flows is what you're saying?
It does, because it depends on, are they both on the same page or not?
Yeah, because I feel like you would be the alpha.
I have alpha
like you were
energy.
The all-knowing, almighty, you know?
Yeah, but energetically, if they buddy up against me, I am out alpha with
Gotcha.
them. Yeah, at least in my tropical human design. Now in the other human design, I'm like double channel alpha. So, you know, there could be that.
Yeah, the power shift.
The power shift. But anyway, if we're just talking about the tropical, then yeah, I'm alpha by them. It's so good to know. If I didn't know what I know now about my children and their energy dynamic, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah. I know that my daughter's a generator, but I don't know anything else because I just looked it up online and punched it in and got like a generic little thing. And so I don't know all the details, but even just knowing she's a generator like me, I'm like, well, yep, I could have told you that, you know, like I see her as a powerhouse already. Mm-hmm. I just think it would be so great to do the kids and my husband and just approach it like how you were saying, like you're learning these different modalities and then you're going to, you know, mix this into one little zesty seasoning of your offering. And like, I could do that with my kids, you know, like we just learn each other. It's almost like learning your love language or, you know, whatever. You just learn each individual's way of things. And I just think that would be so helpful.
Yeah. Energy. Like you have a projector child.
Yeah.
You know, what if it's a house full of generators and you have one projector? That's my dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
And that projector, he's the first one out at night. Yeah. He's exhausted.
Yeah.
And then we're all manifesting generators.
Yeah. So the rest of your brains are just popping off.
We're just, our energy, our sacral is just throwing out all this energy. So yeah, it's very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Just to know I can literally look at the gates and see my children. Like when there's an issue at school or something, and I was like, oh, that's the gate of the wanderer. Or, oh, that's the gate of unrelenting energy. Yeah. You know, so I can literally see it. So, you know, it's like, well, I even use that language in my children's, like, what is it? Like when you have a teacher conference, I'll literally use some of this language and they're like, whoa, that's like a really great way of putting it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah, because
Oh, I'm sure teachers are blown away by you at teacher parent conferences. I'm sure they're like, this lady's crazy, or like, wow, this is so helpful. I'm sure it's like one extreme or the other, you know?
I try to keep it not so woo-woo.
100%. Yeah.
I try just to use like regular language.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll throw something out there just to be like, yeah, this is just who I am.
Exactly. Well, and I think people will understand that better. But yeah, I can only imagine the looks you've gotten, or, you know, if you've said things like that, or just an eye roll, or just what the heck? My
intuition usually tells me who I can approach with this information and who I can't. So I'll change the verbiage. But every now and then I'll just test and be like, if I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And just throw something out there and see how they take it. And then, okay, maybe I won't go into that. Or this one gal I met at the gym, I was able to go all in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you like woo-woo too. Perfect.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's so funny. I had an interaction like that with a girl. I met her on Instagram. She's from Petaluma. We follow all the same people. We post very similar content. And so I just messaged her and I was like, we should be friends. Like, we're constantly in each other's worlds on Instagram. We go meet for coffee. We're just like, you know, just chatting the whole time. And this lady across from us chimes in and she was like, I am so sorry to interrupt you, but like, you ladies are speaking my language. And I was like, come on in, you know, like we were talking about breath work and a little human design and nutrition and fitness and all the things. And she's a massage therapist who, you know, speaks a whole different language of like body work, meets like spirituality and personal development and like all, and the three of us were just like, you know, and it's so awesome to meet people who speak the same language, because I don't get to speak this language with everybody. You know, it's just like, you've got to test the waters. Like you were saying, like, even for me, I run a service-based business and we're like interviewing each other before we really get deep into it. Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to like tell me your shit? Or, you know, are you going to get all hyphy on one topic or the other or whatever it may be? Like I mean, you're way better at energy reading, but you can just, like you said, just pick up on people's cues and then go in for the kill. You know, and go in, because I love having deep, meaningful conversations way more than like, where do your kids go to school?
Well, yeah,
you know,
your chart. Like,
yes,
like the explorer of, like, you know, the leading edge of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Like just that.
Yeah,
if you just focus on that. That's why I was like, oh, I want to get to know this person.
Yeah.
I still feel like we haven't even been able to like really dive deep just because of life and you know, all the things.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, oh, like, okay, she's trying to like push the boundaries of consciousness. I want to understand what that's all about.
Yeah. You need to come get your eyebrows done. And then we would have 2.5 hours of a deep dive of a conversation that we should record as well. See what
downloads come through.
Oh, I'm sure there so many downloads would come through. I feel like your mind would just be like, bloop, 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 bloop.
I have to slow my mind down. It's very, very fast. Yes.
Yeah.
I have to work on that. That's why I have to have notes a lot of the time. I have to have a lot of front loading because it's just so much at once.
Yeah.
Because I'm also learning these big systems and I've been learning them for years now. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of information. Mm-hmm. So I have to often take times of just stillness to integrate that information. Like just last night I had Gene Keys. Yeah. And that is like, there's always an aha moment. And
That's
then it needs to integrate.
Yeah.
So I'm still actually integrating a little bit of that right now. So when
we're getting some of that energy.
You are getting some of that Gene Key energy. Yeah.
I'm here for it all.
Yeah.
I love the energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
So where can listeners find you? Like, where can they connect with you? Like, you know, if they want to book a reading or just kind of stalk you a little bit on social media, like where are you hanging out?
So I just started recently an Instagram account for Energy Resolve. Uh-huh. So Energy Resolve, just the word energy and the resolve, RESOLVE. And that's it, at Energy Resolve. That's my Instagram handle. Every now and then I'll throw on a TikTok, but I'm really not on there a whole lot.
Yeah.
I can't post that often. I'm busy. I mean, hello, I've got the 16 sun gate, you know me, I'm doing all the things, but I do like to go on there and give tips and tricks. And, you know, we talk about energy, human design. I tend to do a lot of collective energy reports.
Yeah.
Because I find that that's really helpful for people to understand what's going on, because we're entering some really big shifts.
Yeah.
And
this isn't like your daily horoscope.
No, this is usually for like a week at a time, weekish, something like that. And there's just so many different types of energy, but this is based more on like human design, quantum, human design, collective energy transit reports.
What do you mean by quantum human design?
So that is just a more feminine version of human design, just like Gene Keys is more feminine, as in human design really developed and came to be in the 90s. And it was the language was meant to shock people.
Okay.
And it has just a very masculine approach to it because it needed it at that time.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I feel that, like that. Yeah. That 100%. Because that's how I felt, was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, it's just the language is a little bit more, I don't want to say maybe flowery. It just lands better.
Feminine, but I know what that means when you talk about the difference between masculine and feminine energy. So it's just a softer side of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so I have this little community that, you know, is following me, and I don't go out. I don't try to hustle followers. I don't want that. I want people that are really genuinely interested in what it is I have to share.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like doing that and putting out there is a type of service.
Absolutely.
And there's a link in my bio that would take you to my website. And on there, I have an online booking calendar.
Yep.
And
that's how I found her. Yes.
Yeah. And
book your appointment and don't book the hour, book the hour and a half, 100%.
She says hour and a half.
Yes.
And then there's my email, which is Energy Resolve 11. And it's the number 11, not the spelling of 11. So Energy Resolve 11@gmail.com.
Okay.
And, you know, connect me that way, or DM me on Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram, you can email me, or you can even go to doublechannelhealing.com.
Yeah.
And then
I'll just link up your phone number, your bank account. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sure you could find the links. But doublechannelhealing.com under Christina. I share that site with my wonderful friend, Sarah. And we also do energy work together.
Yeah.
She just recently moved, so we may be offering distance energy work.
Yeah.
But I also do hands-on energy work, sun energy.
I've had it.
And and people feel that differently. And the thing I'm almost most passionate about, though, is when I tap into one's subconscious and can pinpoint trapped emotions or emotional resonances ringing in the body, because a lot of modalities can do general sweeps. And I think all the modalities are very important.
Yeah.
There's some emotions, trapped emotions, ancestral emotions that get trapped in our body when they cannot be released unless very specific information is brought to the consciousness to release it. So it has to be like, okay, how old were you? All right. Was it 4 or 10? Okay. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm getting like 12. Okay. You were 12. And was it a friend, family member, or a stranger? Oh, okay. Was a family member. Okay. Family member, age 12. I'm getting this.
Gotcha. So kind of like some trauma therapy.
Totally.
For people.
And it's emotional energy healing.
Yeah.
That it's like therapy sped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's different. And I'm really passionate about it.
So does this have to be done in person?
No, I can do it from distance. I can even do it if you're not even there on Zoom with me. You can say, hey, I would love to have a general sweep, or, you know, or I can be with you in person or on Zoom and say, hey, let's go ahead and I'm going to go through like each person that's close to you. And let's see if you have any trapped emotions from your husband, from your kids.
So you actually talk to them about these things and then you go in and do the energy work?
I can do it with the person. I can make them part of the process. They don't have to be a part of the process. And then I just report back.
Gotcha.
But my newest thing is I go and I do a screening of all of the close friends and family members, because I had just not even that long ago, I had almost 200 between trapped emotions and emotional resonances. Yeah. It was like almost 200 of those with just my close friends and family members.
Yeah.
So trapped emotions, ringing in the body of events, that happened a long time ago, but then you're still feeling that energy day to day with certain triggers.
Absolutely.
So
we all have that.
Yes, we do.
I don't think there's one person who doesn't.
Yeah. So
what a great offer.
I do all the things. I tell you, that's the 16, doing its thing.
Yeah.
And I love it.
That's the manifesting generator. And you look at me, I'm learning. Yes. Okay.
And with that 16, because people are like, wait, and you do photography and you do this and you do that. And I'm like, and I just train this one model. And
you're like, I can't help it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do. I love training the models to go do their thing, and working currently with Mrs. California to go on to do a big, Mrs. United States pageant. Yeah. Or working with Miss Globe, United States. And prepped her, with her photography, things like that. I love it all. Yeah. But the thing is I have to be passionate about it. Yeah. And I still need to make sure that I have time. Yeah. Because it's easy to just get excited.
Oh, I'm sure.
And try to fit in the one more thing. Yeah. And then I start burning my prenatal chi energy.
That's how I am when I'm trying to clean my house. I'm like, girl, you got to stay in one room and stay focused, because my mind wants to come downstairs and put something away in the kitchen and then start doing the dishes. And so, yes, I feel you on that for sure.
I think we all have that struggle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully hopefully people can find me, because we went on a tangent, but I love our tangents.
Oh, 100%. That's what this is all about. So no, I will link everything in for people. There would be no way they couldn't find you. It's too easy nowadays. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing all of this information. Like I've told you 1,000 times, and you're probably tired of hearing it. Like, you literally just validated so much in my life through this reading. I'm very interested in the family dynamic part of it, like getting my daughter's chart read, getting my husband, my son. I think that would be great for me to continue to learn them and adjust as necessary, because I realize that I can't change anybody else. I can't force human design. I can't force my husband to be like, live this way. He just doesn't have that mindset like I do. And so I can change myself. I can adapt and adjust. And so why not, if it's going to give us such a more harmonious life and a better day? So thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait for this to air. I can't wait for people to hear all about this, because I just think it's incredible.
Yay. Well, you're so welcome. I am glad to be here and share what I can. Yeah. I have so much to share. So it's nice to be invited to,
absolutely.
Be, called out, the line too. Yeah. That we have in common. Yes. Is being called out. And so I appreciate that.
We're calling each other out.
Calling each other out.
All right. Thanks, Christina.
You're welcome.